There we go. Volume down just a little bit. Okay. I always like to end a code of conduct by saying, look around you. The person next to you is a volunteer. Be nice to them. Look behind you. There are people who help us from the city. Be nice to them because they help us. Just saying. And I think I did see Officer Robbins. There you are, sir. Come on up. Give us a police report. Pass this on down to the young man. There we go.
Good morning, everybody. How we doing? Everybody enjoying the cool weather?
Yeah.
Long summer. This is absolutely great. Just a couple of things. Wanted to start off with one of the crime stats. Right now, I was by myself as far as crime prevention. We're a unit now, so we're the community resource unit. This will be my last meeting for crime stats. Matt Kradowski will be taking it over. I don't want to say it's my last realistically, because if Matt's not here, then I'll come in. But everybody has my contact number. I got, 3 years, 8 months left. So if anybody needs something, please let me know, reach out to me. Also, as far as with crime prevention, talking about, we got the holidays coming up. With Thanksgiving, Black Friday, just want to talk about some crime tips before we go into the crime stats. If we're in a shopping center, always be alert. Protect your wallet and purse. I was in Publix yesterday. A lady had her purse on the top where the kid would sit and just walked away from the cart. Just realize what you're doing. You're giving yourself an opportunity for someone just to remove something real quick. Remove your purse from the cart or leave. Keep your cash hidden. I always like to keep my cash in my front left pocket, which is my strong hand. Usually my hand is in my pocket. I don't like keeping anything in the back pockets, because if I pull out my phone where I keep my phone, the money can then fall on the floor. Shop with others. Do it in a group thing, especially at night with the mall. Park in a well-lit area. When you're driving around, look for a door. Look for a well-lit area where the lights are working. Remember where you parked. I think I need an Apple tag. I'm 51, and I just pull into a parking spot and I forget where I parked. To the point where I think I need to put a tennis ball on the top of my antenna. Do they even have antennas anymore? Keep your valuables in sight. So this is really important. And even we're at a shopping center, when we're pulling up into our driveway, always look around. Look on your car seat, or your passenger seat, your floorboard, behind. See what you have. You might have your computer out there. That's what they're looking for. And then when we exit our cars, always remember to lock it. And report suspicious activities. If you see somebody that is not, like you got the hair on your neck sticking up, you get that tingle in your belly, that's your defense mechanisms telling you that something is not right, it's improper. Let somebody know, let security know at the mall. Let them know, as far as take an image in your mind, what they look like, what their shirt looks like, the color of their shirt, shorts, pants, whatever they're wearing, hat, and just give the best information that you possibly can to somebody and let someone know about that. Also too, when we're at the mall and you have a bunch of stuff that you're carrying out, have security. If you feel that you need some assistance at UTC, at the other malls, have security come out and walk you out to your car as far as safety. Just a couple of tips as far as to go over with the holiday season, so we have those in our mind so we don't become a victim. And then always lock your car, lock your front door. Again, the crime is coming down a little bit for burglaries, but we can always do better. So always lock your car. As far as Part 1 crimes, murders, for this year, 2023, 0. 2023, October of 2022, 0. Great stat. Aggravated assaults, this year, 2023, 14. Last year, 16, -2. Let's keep that going in the right track. Robberies, 10 this year, 8 last year, so that's a +2. We can do better there. Sex crimes, 2 this year, 2 last year. Burglaries, 9 this year, 17 last year. -8, great stat. Larceny for vehicles, 21 this year, 21 last year. Motor vehicle thefts, 6 this year, 8 last year. The total for this year is 62 Part 1 crimes, last year 72, so we're -10. We just got to keep on working on our getting that better. So happy Saturday, everybody. Does anybody have any questions? I know you got a full audience here today. I'm sure you got a bunch of stuff to talk about. But if there's any questions before I get out of here. Yes, sir.
You know, Mike?
I don't need a mic, I don't think. I just wanted to say to Officer Robbins, since he's not gonna be with us any longer, he started sending crime stats to me during COVID when I was doing the newsletter. And I also saw a couple months ago that he had wrapped up his service after 12+ years, I think, on the scuba unit and in the harbor, so in the bay. So I'd just like to thank him on behalf of us for his service to not only this group but to the community. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Do you want to pass those around? Oh, okay. He'll send it to me.
And I'll send the crime stats
Okay.
when I get back to my office.
Yep.
And they'll be posted on your CCNA website. Thanks again, everybody. I'm not saying goodbye. I'm sure I'm gonna see everybody again. It's great working with the team. We can get more done. So, I thank, Mayor Brown, Pat Robinson for that. The hiring of new officers, having more officers out there, and us working together as a team and working together as partnering with the community. We're gonna keep grinding this out and make the city safe, better, and quality of life is gonna go up. So thanks again, thank you for your support, and look forward to seeing everybody again.
We're on to our special presentation. We are very honored today to have Mr. Ron Turner from the Supervisor of Elections. I also understand you're president of the Florida election, what is the proper?
Florida Supervisors of Elections.
Florida Supervisors of Elections. So, and without further ado, I'm gonna turn the mic over to this young man and get out of the way.
Well, thank you, Richard. Good morning.
Good morning.
And I don't know the best place to stand here.
Right up there.
Right over here, go short. So, good morning. It's nice. Good morning. Startled me there a little bit. I was like, do I have an echo? What's going on here? So, well, good morning. Back there, or here, wherever you're at. So, throwing me off a little bit. So, good morning to everyone. It's great to be here with you, and I don't see a clock in the room, so I'll try to do my best with the time. So, I have several friends in the room. I see Commissioner Trice, Commissioner Ahearn-Koch, former Commissioner Eileen Normile, City Manager Marlon Brown, and Pat Robinson there. All friends, and great to work with them. Also, coordinate with the Chief of Police a lot in the city of Sarasota. When we call or one of our alarms or something goes off, they're great to respond. Over to the Terrace building where one of my offices is located, but that's where I work out of here in the city of Sarasota. And so a lot going on. Right now we're doing a City of Venice election, so I have early voting going on today down in Venice. Today's the last day at the R.L. Anderson building, and they have an election right now. So that doesn't apply to any of you unless you're moving to the City of Venice anytime soon. So how many people in the room have either been poll workers or work as kind of seasonal or temporary workers in the office? Or I figured there were quite a few, and I've seen familiar faces here. So with the elections office, there's the supervisor of elections, me, who's an elected official. I'm finishing up my second term. I have to run again next year in 2024. I do plan to run for re-election in 2024 for my third term. No term limits on supervisors of elections in Sarasota County or across the state of Florida. And we have 30 some odd permanent staff members at the elections office in Sarasota County. We have offices in the city of Sarasota, city of Venice, city of Northport. We have a warehouse facility out past the interstate. In addition to those 30 some odd permanent staff, we hire about 600 to 700 temporary and seasonal workers that work in our offices, like in a year like 2024, and then about 1,000 poll workers to help us run the countywide elections for the general election next year. The next statewide election coming up is March the 19th. That's a presidential preference primary. It's looking likely, because Florida has closed primaries, that potentially could be a Republican-only primary in March. We will know by mid-December. That is the point where the two state political parties, the major political parties, will provide their slate of candidates to the Secretary of State, who will in turn provide that certification to the county supervisors of elections throughout Florida. And then really the next elections, I think, that will impact you heavily are next August and November. So August is the statewide primary, November is the general election. It's a presidential general election, so I like to call it the Super Bowl of elections, because we anticipate a very large turnout. The last presidential general, we had more than an 80% turnout. I think we could hit that and higher. We could have a record turnout in Sarasota County. Typically, our turnout is one of the highest in the state of Florida. We rank very highly, either just out of any of the 67 counties, or at least in counties our size. We have been the 13th largest of the 67 counties by number of registered voters. As Richard said, right now I'm serving as president of the Florida Supervisors of Elections. That's an organization made up of the 67 supervisors of elections from across Florida and our respective staffs. I started that position last May. Was sworn in by the Secretary of State, and then so it's a one-year term till next May, and then I'll be past president, which is a position I think anyone that served as president really covets. But past president, I'm going to have a little countdown clock. Thankfully, I don't have the presidential general election or statewide primary on my watch, but it has been good for Sarasota County. You know, it's hard for the Secretary of State or high-level legislative officials to coordinate with every supervisor of elections in Florida. So as president, one of my roles is to represent the supervisors at that kind of state level. So I've had lots of conversations with Cord Bird, who's the Secretary of State, who is appointed by Governor Ron DeSantis. So, and he's been good to work with in the last few months. So what are we working on in Sarasota County? A lot. I know people think that elections, you work a couple days Eileen and I were talking about this earlier. It's like you work a couple days every, few years. How hard is this job? Really hard. And it's not a couple days. That's why I'm here with you on a Saturday morning. It is not 5 days a week. It's not a couple days every couple of years. But it is a pleasure to do. I've been doing this a while. I started out, how I came about this job is I grew up in Arcadia in DeSoto County. I was a city council member there too when I was 23 years old. That was my first elected job. And how I decided to run for supervisor of elections is the neighbor of mine was running for sheriff of the county, and I was about 14 or 15 years old, so he'd stop by my house on my summer off from school and pick me up in the morning, and I'd spend all day with him, shadowing everything he did. I went everywhere with him. He ended up being elected sheriff. And then he would drop me off at my house, because I didn't have a driver's license at the time. And he said, he saw that I was taking an interest in the process. He said, you know, it'd be a great job for you to run for some days, to be the supervisor of elections. And so I did that when I was 22. I didn't win. I ran against the incumbent. You know, I thought I knew everything at 22, you know, like most 22-year-olds. So I ran against somebody who had been in office that long time. Came very close to winning, came within 140 votes, and that's when I became a city council member. And at that point, the supervisor of elections decided to retire in mid-term, and so the governor of Florida appointed me to that seat. Lawton Childs did. So I finished that term, ran for my own term, went through the 2000 election in Florida. Remember that, with the hanging chads and dimpled chads. Didn't run again in 2000 and moved to Sarasota County and started over. Wanted to be the supervisor of elections right away. But yeah, you can't move to Sarasota County and become the supervisor of elections on day one. It just doesn't work that way. So did some other things. Then I worked for the previous supervisor, Kathy Dent, as her chief of staff for many years. And then she retired, and then the voters of Sarasota County elected me in 2016 for my first term. So this is truly my life's work. It's an honor to do this job. It's the only thing that I want to do as an elected official and as a career. I tell folks, listen, as I said, I'm going to run again next year, but I'm going to retire as your supervisor of elections, and this is going to go one of two ways. Either I'm going to retire voluntarily, or you all are going to retire me at the ballot box. But I'm going out of the terrace building, or whatever building I'll be in by then, as your supervisor of elections. So let's talk about what we've been working on. So we had a large, the last few years have been challenging, as we all know. We've had a lot of growth in Sarasota County, some changes in behavior. It's a little hard to predict patterns of people as much as we used to be able to do in elections. Because you have three ways to vote in Florida. You can vote by mail, which is just an absentee ballot. You can vote early in person at a location, or you can vote on election day if you're a traditionalist at your polling locations, and I believe this room is actually going to be a polling location. We're working on that for next year's elections. And so with those methods, it used to be kind of in countywide elections, you'd have a third of people voting by mail, a third vote in person early, and a third on election day. Well, that doesn't quite work that way as consistently anymore across the board. Again, because patterns change. During the 2020 election, we had really high turnout in vote by mail because of the pandemic. That's obvious. Some other elections, we've had really high early voting turnout, which I like early voting. That's how I vote myself, because it kind of gives you the convenience of vote by mail, because you can vote at any of the designated sites while you're out and about at your convenience. Because on election day, it's harder, right? You may not be able to make it to your polling location, or your polling locations are designated based on your residence. And if you're working, you may not work near your residence, like yours truly. So I can't make it to my polling location on election day. I'm a little busy, believe it or not. So we looked at what was happening last year, and there was a healthy turnout here, and a lot of people returned to their polling locations on election day. And so to plan for that, there were several things that we started to do. One was I put a work group together, my staff, last December. So our first meeting internally was December 21st, 2022, to start looking at precincts and polling locations in Sarasota County. Since that time, we've done some re-precincting. We went before, or I did, the county commission recommended that we divide some precincts and add some additional precincts in Sarasota County. So we divided 8 up and added 4 more additional precincts. So it takes us from 99 countywide to 103. And we've added 9 new polling locations to the county also, because we have a lot of growth, especially in Northport and in Northeast Sarasota County in the Lakewood Ranch area. There are other areas also, like in the city of Sarasota, but some of these precincts look a little more manageable than what we've had in the county. Those have grown really large, and in fact, you know, we do a lot of list maintenance, voter registration list maintenance in a year like this. We've taken off the voter rolls this year so far for deaths about 4,700 people in Sarasota County. We have used a national change of address list from the U.S. Postal Service to identify changes of address from about nearly 7,000 voters in the county that we have removed from the active voter rolls. After the Venice election, we are going to remove another approximately 31,000 voters from the active voter rolls that have not voted in the last 2 general elections. And so that will be completed after the Venice election. I don't want to complete that process until this election is over with, because we're in the middle of this right now. So I mentioned that because we do a lot of list maintenance. As you know, we're a very dynamic and fluid city and county here. A lot of people moving in and out. A lot of people that have multiple residences, so that want to vote by mail ballot because maybe they're in Ohio or New York or whatever, they're not here. Or maybe they're on an aircraft carrier, or maybe they're on a world cruise, and we have to figure out how to get them a ballot, true story, all over planet Earth to every continent on the planet because the nature of our population here. So, as I said, we did re-precincting. The other thing we have done is we have purchased all new voting equipment in Sarasota County. That is brand new. We will go 2024. It's the same vendor, which is ES&S. There are 2 vendors available to us in Florida. Florida has its own voting system certification through the Secretary of State, who, as I mentioned, is appointed by the governor of Florida. He oversees the certification process and gives the counties a choice. It's chicken or fish. It's Dominion or ES&S. We've used ES&S since 2015. We are continuing to do so, but we're upgrading our precinct tabulators and our high-speed vote by mail tabulators, all of them throughout the county. So we're pretty blessed to be able to do this, and the commission, county commission allocated the funds for us to be able to upgrade, because I wanted to go into this very busy, very important election year with new equipment, because it's kind of like cars, right? You get an 8-year-old car, and you know, even if you're changing the oil and doing things, every once in a while you got to trade that in and get a new car, right? So we're doing the same thing with the voting system. The other thing we've added that for the city of Venice, and starting in 2024, is a new audit system in the county. It's an automated independent audit. We will be running every ballot in this county, paper ballot, through this secondary audit system and make a comparison with the primary ES&S system. So it will do a secondary count of 100% of the ballots in this county. That system, there's no connection to any Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. It's in a secure room in my facilities, and only my staff has access to that. And so we will run the ballots through the primary ES&S system, and then turn around for vote by mail early voting election day, run them through that system, and then do an audit, post-election audit, making that 100% comparison. Why is it important to do that? Well, we can do a manual audit, which we've done, which is a random selection of a race and a precinct on the ballot. But the state of Florida has certified recently this system to do automated audits, and I felt it was important to not leave any tool on the table that the state of Florida, under Florida law, provides us to use, and to help build voter confidence that all of these ballots are being counted correctly. And one last thing, and then I'll just take questions. Do you allow questions? Okay. And because I love to answer questions from voters. And the last thing is, I've been talking to Commissioner Ahearn-Koch with our voter information cards. So we're attempting right now, because we've had a notation on there for your various districts countywide, and it does tell City of Sarasota voters that they're a city voter. It didn't tell city voters what district you're in, of the 1, 2, and 3, which are on the up for election in 2024. So I have conversations with Commissioner Koch. We've looked at that, and I think I'll be able to add that once this Venice election is over, so that we'd be able to have those for the city voters. I just had to see where the impacts were countywide, because you know, I heart the city of Sarasota, but you're not my only city that I have to worry about in my role. So, but I think it looks like we'll be able to do that. So with that, I'd be happy to answer your questions. But again, I just want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk to you, giving me the opportunity to do this job. We have a great team, as I said. It's made up of thousands of people that work for the Supervisor of Elections, and to put on these elections, this size, this scale, this complexity. It's an all year round operation, but we're devoted to trying to do our best to serve you, the voters. Yes. No.
Okay, I thank you very much. And I will have to say it was so well done, we actually did hear a pin drop. Are there any questions? Right here.
I have a comment, I'll just stand.
Sure.
So
Please.
I'm Miles Tobin, and I'm from Chicago, which while it's known as the
Vote
city,
early and vote often.
that's right. While it's known as the city that works, it does not work very often, and neither does Cook County. This is really just a comment. The number of years I've been here and have voted, your office and the folks who work with you and for you are incredibly informative, efficient, and helpful. I voted in all three methods that you've outlined, and frankly, you're just doing a great job, and I appreciate it as a voter in this county.
Well, they appreciate that, and we do have a great team. They take working for you very seriously. Customer service is a big part of our job, and everyone's a customer. The voters are customers. You know, we have observers that come in, poll watchers, political parties, you name it. We try to treat everyone with respect and dignity and see them as a part of this process, and we want to do everything that we can. We will follow the law, but we want to do everything that we can to serve you and keep getting better at it. Yes.
Sorry about that.
Okay, let's see if I'm loud enough, okay? I'd just like to echo what this young man has said. Voter confidence in Sarasota County is fantastic because of what you do. And as a voter, I just thank you for that.
Well, as I said, I appreciate that. You know, I'm just the one person that gets to be up here in front of people, but our team, we talk about this. I said, listen, we're all Ron Turner, so it's all of us.
Hey, Ron.
David, oh, there we go. Sorry, Chris.
It's okay. Hey, my neighborhood has a lot of people who are registered to vote here, but take off in the summer.
Yes.
They'll definitely be gone when the primaries happen,
Mm-hmm.
and they may or may not be back in time for the general. Can you just remind me what they need to do to get a vote by mail sent to their other address?
Yeah, so with individuals that get vote by mail, and it's interesting that you brought that up, because the August primary election, if you've ever wanted to be a poll worker, that's our most challenging to find poll workers for. We usually have poll workers out the yin-yang for the general election, but to find them for the primary, because of the nature of our population being here seasonally, sometimes that's a little harder. For vote by mail, voters can go to my website at sarasotavotes.gov. You want to look for the GOV, the .gov is a government site. I mention that because there's other people that have URLs that are similar to mine. There's nothing I can do about that, but so we have a .gov site. They can request a vote by mail ballot through one general election cycle. So you can request one now through the end of 2024. We'll mail ballots to you for any election that you're eligible to vote in. If you have a forwarding address, that's not an address that's on file with our office, because it's just for a specific election for that ballot, then you'll have to provide that to us in writing. So they can facilitate that through our website. They can call us at 861-8618. We have a great team of folks. In fact, next year in 2024, we'll have our call center up operating. It kind of looks like a QVC call center with little headsets and computers. I joke you not, operators are standing by. 861-8618 number is I'm not exaggerating. Am I exaggerating? No, yeah, you know, because you work there. So to help them.
So I've got it in my head that if you go to your office in person, you can do this, but if you try to do it remotely, you've got to get something notarized.
You don't have to get it notarized, but it has to be signed, and we can get it back to us, like emailing or scanning and emailing, things like that. So, but yeah, it does have to be in writing to us, but no, it doesn't have to be notarized. But we'll walk people through it. So it's better just to contact us at that number probably. And folks, I mean, that's what, you know, that if they call that direct number, those staff in that department, that's what they specialize in. So believe me, we have people that call from all over the planet. That Olga is one of our staff people. They ask for her from other countries and things. They had calls from Vietnam the other day. They specifically asked for Olga. They know. So we help people, as I said, every continent on the planet we've sent ballots to.
And just one last thing. So the issue is that the post office won't forward a ballot out of state.
No, it's not legal for them to forward a ballot out of state. So vote by mail ballots aren't forwardable. It will come back to my office, and at that point we will do our best to contact the voter to see if they no longer reside there, because you don't want these ballots just floating out everywhere, or if it was just a mistake because they have a forwarding address but these aren't forwardable, and then we'll try to contact them wherever we're at. Listen, we use, say, cold compresses, warm compresses. We hold their hands and gently walk them across the finish line. So we're not gonna try, it's not a gotcha situation on that. We'll try to reach out to find them.
2 more questions.
Here's one.
Question about new residents. We've got about 150 unit condo project that closings have started. As far as people moving in, do they have an opportunity when they apply for, example, the homestead exemption or their driver's license? Is there an opportunity to register to vote at that time?
Yeah, the driver's license, there are multiple ways to register to vote, but certainly one of the ones that is the most popular is through the tax collector's office, and when they'll offer that to them, and have been for about 30 years now. So there's multiple agencies, but that is a primary one. Everyone that comes in there under federal law is offered a voter registration there. They have to do that. And then it's automatically just ported over to me electronically with their signature from the driver's license, all of that. So.
Okay, last question.
I have one.
There you go.
You said you have 30 permitted staff members. What's the definition of permitted?
Meaning that they work all year round with me, that they're not like a temp or a seasonal thing, that they're regular staff. And I don't even know how many, we've had quite a few people that have left and retired, and I've hired new people, and we've expanded some of the positions, and I'm probably gonna have to do more of that, because, you know, I will say with the county commission, you know, my budget is funded through ad valorem tax dollars. I go to the Board of County Commissioners once a year to fund my budget. This year, coming up, it's about $9.5 million for our budget. A general election would cost somewhere around $2 million in Sarasota County. Put that on just as a, you know, kind of spitballing on those numbers right now, but the 30 some odd is 30 plus are permanent staff that work for me all year round, not kind of seasonal or temporary hires or something.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you all.
Okay, now to business. First, I want to recognize our special guest. We have Brianne from the county, Nancy Kelley from the city, Pat Robinson, of course, he's going to be here in a minute. I see Carlos Yancey from the Bay First. There you are. Thank you, sir. Jen, Marlon, thank you for coming. There's Ted back there in the corner from the park board. Where's Debbie? I saw there you are, Debbie, our commissioner. Commissioner Smith is away on another assignment today, and I think I missing here? I think I got everybody. I also want to recognize Mike. No, wait. Bird Key. What? I forgot. He told me his name at the beginning and I already forgot it.
Randall.
Randy. Thank you. We have Randy, Eileen, and Liz, and Jody. This is her first time to this table. She was at the summit last week.
Awesome.
Yes. So, thank you guys. I applaud you for spending your time here. Okay. So we need to approve, we're going to approve 2 minutes this month. The September minutes, I need a motion to approve the minutes
So moved.
made by
Kathy.
Officer Kelley Ohlrich, and I need a second.
Second.
And Norm Domain seconds. Is there any discussion? Approved by unanimous consent. Moving on to the October minutes. They're brief, but we need a motion to.
There was one spelling change for delegate. I'll get that.
A spelling change?
For St. Ives.
Ron's got, okay, with the change, I need a motion to approve October. Joanne approves, a second? Just, okay. Gentlemen, I don't know your name, sir. Richard, second. Discussion?
I just needed the H taken out of my name.
Okay, so we have a second.
Cloutier, not, not Thier.
Sorry, Joyce.
We'll get it, all right. Okay, any other discussion? By unanimous consent, we'll approve those minutes. So, report. Since we are a little short on time, I'm gonna be very quick. I wanna say, I mentioned that the manager of our airport received a special recognition for last year. I don't know how many of you saw that. That's kudos on Mr. Piccolo. What else do we need? I don't think we need that. We're good there, except we need Ms. Campo, please, if you would talk to us about next month which is the Christmas party.
Our buddy is back.
Yeah.
Hold on, Barbara.
Thank you very much, thank you. Can everybody hear me? COVID has left me with a very peculiar voice and ears that don't function too well. Anyhow, what we decided this year was not to have so many sugars, so many sweets. We love cookies and muffins and pound cakes and butt cakes and marble cakes and carrot. But we thought, let's head into food that has a little bit more nutritional value, but is still very good. So what I've done is I've made up a list of offerings that you can sign up for. This is the list. It's quite a bit. And the items that have an asterisk next to them are the ones that we're encouraging you to sign up for. I think it was Mary. Where did Mary go? Oh, there you are. Didn't you bring a wonderful chili one year? Okay, it was so good, I still remember it. So anyhow, that's what I would like you to sign up for, and I will have a sheet, and on your way out, I will snag you. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Next month is also election of officers, so we will have a slate. We've had a team working on this, and they will be ready to bring names forward. I also have to announce I will be in Havana, Cuba. It's a trip that started in 2019 and was delayed by COVID and all other sorts of things. So it's going to be that paradigm of if you're not here, they're going to elect you to something, which is all right. Okay, treasurer's report. Joanne.
Yes, can you hear me?
Louder. Let me turn the volume up on this thing.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes.
Everyone can hear me? Okay. The treasurer's report, October 1 through November 4th. Beginning balance was $6,861.48. We had a deposit of new member Bert Key for $60. We had expenditures of $386.41, which included mostly website maintenance. So our ending balance as of today is $6,534.47.
Thank you. Okay, on to the, yeah, let's turn it, go ahead, thank you. On to the summit. Kathy is going to talk to us about that, but before I turn the table over to her, I want to thank the city for the community building grant that provided the bagels and spread and orange juice and coffee. We had gift certificates from Einstein Bagel, Boulevard Cafe, I'm missing somebody, Boulevard Cafe, Tommy Bahamas, Lido Key Resort, and there was one other one that gave us door prizes. I hope you guys made use of those. Oh, Raina's Taqueria, of course. Yes. That's it. Oh, Kathy, will you explain, please, what we have next?
I'll do my best. First of all, for the purpose of this discussion and the follow-up to it, you need to have a handout that was at the table when you came in. The title is 2023 Summit Topics, Neighborhood Ranking. If you don't have that, why don't you raise your hand and Jerry Fagan will bring a copy around to you. There is only one submission per neighborhood. So the first thing you do before you even look at the next pages is put the name of your neighborhood on the top of page 1 in the upper right hand corner. All right, so that's the introduction. Next thing is, thank you everybody for participating in the summit at last month's meeting. We had open, honest, really good discussion. However, now we need to rank order all this stuff that you talked about. What we did was look at all the feedback sheets and come up with broad topics, which are on the back side of page 1 of your handout, otherwise known as page 2. In order for you to make sure that we considered your discussion items, we have them all listed on the subsequent pages of this handout. But what we want you to do today, during the rest of the meeting, probably when Pat Robinson is talking.
You guys wanna take a nap?
You can listen and write at the same time. We want you to look at page 2 and rank order these items. Don't take it back to your community. You don't have to have a vote on this. This is just you who participated in the summit, rank ordering them. To help you, if you don't know what rank order means, you list these items from 1 to however many there are, in order of importance. Number 1 is the most important to you. How many, Jim? There are 15. So when you're all done, you'll have numbers 1 through 15 in the yellow column. Questions? Eileen.
What does city general mean? Second one down.
Oh, in terms of the detail. Keep on going.
The next pages are details.
Right. See, that was an example that showed what we did. We talked broad categories and your specific discussion items are on the subsequent pages. Any other questions? Ricky?
Was there no discussion in any of the groups about traffic?
There was, it's under, I think, safety and health.
There was plenty of discussion about traffic, it's there.
Yeah.
Health and safety.
Oh, okay, health and safety, okay.
Any other questions?
Thanks, Ron.
You were gonna add, that if they wanted to bring something up into that list.
Oh, here's the other thing, the last thing. If something on those subcategories on the subsequent pages is really very especially important to you, mark it. Put a star there. Put something there, but not on all of them, okay? Just one or two maybe. Any other questions? Okay, now look, while Pat is talking, look up now and then so he thinks you're listening to him too. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. I also, this was a team effort. Jim transcribed everything and took a picture. Kathy Cat did the categorization. Ron made sure it looked good so it was a big team effort for everybody up here except me. All I did was tell them what to do.
Hey, Richard.
Yes.
Would you tell them before they leave to turn their handout into me?
Okay, did you guys hear that?
No, I have a question, because what you just said to turn it in before we leave, but the instructions say we can email our rankings to Ron or return them at the December meeting.
We would prefer that you turned it in.
Today.
Okay, I think you're putting a lot of pressure on people to prioritize.
Don't turn it in today then.
Just saying.
Don't turn it in today then.
Okay.
It isn't gonna happen overnight.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Everything that happened about this is going to be moved from, we've been looking at this, it's gonna be moved to the area that all of you can get to see the pages, his transcriptions, all of Kathy's notes, everything. So if you have questions, it's there. Just go to our website and Jim will have an easy link for that. Okay, so I think that concludes. Are there any other officers' reports? All right. We have no old business. We have no new business. I need Pat Robinson up here because it's time for our neighborhood reports.
This walk gets longer every Saturday.
Well, that's why we extend the table to Kathy.
I was gonna say,
Actually,
there's,
it's bigger.
yeah. And Kathy already warmed everybody up, so we didn't need to do anything now. Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Yeah, she did.
How
Yeah,
are you guys?
I'll let you have this one.
Thank you very much.
Okay, and now remember, as you talk about your achievements in your neighborhoods, if there's a pothole or a big pothole we have to fix, bring it up now so that we can chase it down and make sure it happens. If you want your report recorded, email it to the email there, Ron Cashton, rcashton@hotmail.com. Who has a Hotmail account anymore?
There we go, we got one.
Oh.
You've got one. I have an AOL account, so.
Okay, shut my mouth. Anyway, so, to start this off, would you take, would you hand that to Norm?
Sure.
Okay, I want Norm to start out today because I'm gonna give him a little extra time to talk about Bobby Jones. Otherwise, you got 2 minutes, and I'm gonna time you. Dan, I'm gonna time you. That's why I can pick on you. Go ahead, sir.
Can you hear me?
Oh, that's a little loud.
It's too loud?
No, it's okay, Richard.
Is it? Okay, all right.
Okay, you had this handout in regard to a meeting on November 15th at Robert L. Taylor. It's an important meeting, and I'd like to explain to you a little bit as to why this is an important meeting. For the last 2 years, we at CCNA have focused on meaningful input from the city by us. We have a committee that's working on meaningful input. This meeting here is a community input meeting relating to Bobby Jones Nature Park. It's a meeting that's going to share plans for what will go on at the nature park, future plans for master plan. They are asking us, the city's asking us to provide our input in terms of reviewing the master plan, the current draft of it, and to give feedback for what we like, what we'd like to see. We have been asking for the opportunity for input. Okay? That's what we've requested. The city is reaching out to us to provide that input. When we've asked for something like that, then it's really incumbent upon us to respond, to provide that kind of input. I'd ask you to come to that meeting at Robert L. Taylor on November 15th from 4 to 6 so that you see what the plans are and you provide your input. I've been involved in CCNA for 10 or so years. Through those 10 or so years, constantly at the top of our list in parks, open green space, trees. This project at the nature park at Bobby Jones is one of those major projects the city has that will provide 90 acres of stunning open green space that's free to everyone. When we've been saying that that's what we prize, the stunning open green space, again, I'd say that it's up to us to go to that meeting and to provide the kind of impact, the kind of input that we'd like to see. So I'm asking all of you, I'm asking you, one, to take this information that you have, to share it with the members of your board, ask them to attend that meeting, to encourage your residents to attend the meeting. It's an important thing for us, for our city. This is a huge, huge project, one that's going to be a signature project for the city. So I simply ask for your help on that, and I think it's one of the important things that CCNA has been behind throughout. It was one of our major strategic initiatives a couple of years ago. So, thank you.
All right, just keep going right down the line. No, we'll come back around to her.
Just pass the mic down as you finish.
Yep.
What am I doing?
Neighborhood report?
Oh.
If you have one, yes.
We're Joanne of Sarasota. We're historic, we're art, we exist, and we've survived many a challenge and continue to work with many engaged residents. Come to our open studios. We're getting a new restaurant, Baby Breeze. Some of you know Baby Breeze is moving along, but we are getting a new restaurant.
Okay, this is for you, Pat. I did the flicker fix for the bus stop at 25th and Central. I've noticed it has not been changed or lit up. It's the one that's going, the bus number 2 that goes towards the airport. 25th Street needs to, on the right going up, needs to be replacing the light bulbs and the lamps, because they're all out. Right, the left side's okay, but the one side isn't.
So the county is actually in charge of the SCAT bus stops, but we have a great relationship with them, so on Monday, I'll call Brad Johnson, the assistant county administrator, and make sure that that gets switched out. So the county actually runs, SCAT, now the Breeze, is actually the county's project and they are the ones that actually maintain all those, but we have,
The
like I
light
said,
poles?
the actual covers, or are you
No,
talking
no,
about the
not
lights?
the covers, the light
Oh,
poles.
yeah, no problem, we'll look
Yeah,
into
that's
it.
what
I
I.
will leave here today and drive up and make sure I know what you're talking about. Promise. Thank you.
Remember, state your name and your neighborhood, please.
Connie Reesemick, Avondale, I'm an alternate. Avondale has worked with the city to provide 2 important speed mitigation devices, which are now up and running, to reduce the speed on South Osprey between the Osprey, Street Bridge and Bay Vista. They have been installed and are up and running, and they look very nice, by the way. The Avondale Annual Fall Picnic will take place next Saturday at the intersection of Yale and Irving. Our board is currently working on next year's fall picnic, which will be the 100th anniversary of our neighborhood. Avondale is also teaming up with Hudson Bayou for our dogs and drinks gathering at Prime Park on Pomelo Avenue on Wednesday, November 15th, from 5:30 to 6:30. It's a BYOB event, and dogs must be on leashes. Everyone is welcome to join this special social event. Thank you.
Hi everyone, good morning. My name is Liz Mena and I'm from Trice. I'm the new alternate delegate. So a few cool updates. We received a neighborhood grant from the city of Sarasota. Thank you, Nancy Kelley, for your help in helping Trice. We're gonna be using some of that money to help with a mail out. It will be our first ever bilingual mail out. And so me and the primary delegate will be in charge of translating that. And so we're really excited about that. Basically, it's just like a little invite to have residents and neighbors check our website, which is in the process of being published, as well as staying connected to our Facebook page, which is also in the process of being published. And then also a general membership meeting invite for our January meeting. And then some of that money will also be used to repair our Welcome to Park East sign right off Fruitville and East Avenue. It just needed some, updates and stuff. And then we're also talking about having 2 more signs, Welcome to Park East signs. We're still deciding where we want to put those. And then lastly, but certainly not least, Tony Smith sends his warmest and best regards. He's really happy that myself and Andres could be the delegates for this meeting. Thank you.
Mary Poppins with Angle's Park. We also received a grant as well. Thank you again, Nancy Kelley, for all of your input. Close.
Yes, better.
It's better, okay. So we also received our neighborhood grant as well. Once again, thank you, Nancy Kelley. It's called The Word Out, and we're basically, getting our neighborhood signs done and putting those out again, and also sending out some mailers. So we really appreciate that opportunity to increase our neighborhood participation. Also, we had a wonderful turnout at the Big Mama Collard Green Fest. I saw a few of you there. It was really nice, to have the community come out and support the Big Mama Collard Green Fest. And we also had a wonderful turnout at our annual trunk or treat. I saw a few faces there as well. So we're just really looking forward to our holiday season, which we also have a holiday party. I'll have some more information for you, but we're just looking for a warm, loving and caring, holiday, and supporting our communities and our neighborhoods.
Thank you very much. Daniel Frank, McClellan Park, okay, so first of all, Nancy, I want to say thank you for our neighborhood grant, which will, a big chunk of that will be used to pay for our new website, ahearn-koch.org. I'll also thank you for ordering the replacement benches for Linear Park, for one of those was destroyed by the hurricane last year. Much appreciated, we're looking forward to getting those. MPNA will be having our neighborhood social on November 11th, that's a week from today. Then also, you notice I'm going really fast here. Pat, I want to thank the city for continuing to be very diligent in refilling the sinkholes on Beachline Drive. By the time you actually do replace the street, you should be able to mine out all the asphalt.
We'll just put it in some other pothole.
That's right, exactly. And then, speaking of potholes, since I've been invited to mention one, there is a very large one that is in the center of Hyde Park Drive, just east of Yamaha. I know weird McClellan Park street names. It's really influence on Comcast. Okay, yeah, as much as you have on FPL level.
Pretty
Okay,
much the same
I won't
thing,
even
yes.
ask the question then. Thanks very much.
Well, I will say this, if you do have an issue with Comcast, send it to me and I will send it through our Public Works Department. We do have points of contact there, but just like everyone else that has an issue with Comcast, Verizon, T-Mobile, any of the communications companies, we basically get put into a queue just like everybody else, so, but send it to me so we can put it.
This is all like pole and wire.
Yes, yeah, yeah, absolutely, but send it to me anyways, cause I will put it into our Public Works folks and we do have meetings with them, so we'll try to get that addressed, so please don't not send it.
Good morning, Ricky Lindsay, Bay Point Park Neighborhood Association. I'd like to give a shout out to the Public Works Department and Marlon Brown for the Click to Fix program. It's been very helpful and effective in our neighborhood, in particular getting street lights up and working. I have one question for you, Pat. Do you happen to know if Selby Event Center has its certificate of occupancy? I know they had a temporary one. Do you know if they've gotten their?
I do not, I'm not sure of, I can find out and let you know. I don't think it's been issued yet, but I'll have to double check, cause I don't think they're having things inside the actual new buildings yet.
Okay, I'm not so sure I agree with that. But, also, what we are noticing in our neighborhood is there are no directions outside of Selby to give people information where to go, where to park, what to do. And, so they are coming through our neighborhood because they get lost, they drive through. We've known this was going to be a problem. We had hoped that the Selby Event Center people would address that proactively, but, if you could have a word with them about that. We had somebody literally doing 60 miles an hour down Gulfview Drive saying, "Where's Selby Gardens? Where is it? Where is it?" And, not everybody uses navigation systems, so good old fashioned signage would be appreciated. And that's it, thank you.
Parker Beard, San Remo, my report.
Linda Jacob, Gillespie Park. The first one is for Pat. We're doing our quarterly light pole check, so you'll be getting a Click to Fix.
Great.
Next, we're getting ready, we're leaving here to go to another meeting. We're getting ready to put together our speaker list for next year. We have monthly meetings and we have speakers at every meeting. December 9th is our holiday party. Everybody in our neighborhood is a great cook. It'll be on Facebook. It starts around 5 and ends when the last person goes home. And the Conservatory Foundation of the Gulf Coast is starting a wellness Saturday in our park, starting November the 11th. And it'll be the second Saturday of every month through April. And I do not have their flyer with me, unfortunately. But one of the things that I did remember, it said, stop by, get a drink of lemonade and read a book. And I was for that. Thank you.
Lieutenant McCabe from Alta Vista, no.
Kevin Spence, Indian Beach Sapphire Shores. I'd like to ask you to welcome our new alternate, Richard Parlato.
Hi, Richard Parlato. Thanks for letting me be here, appreciate it. I'd like to, first of all, announce that we're having our annual picnic on tomorrow at Sun Circle, and you're all invited to participate in that. And we'd also like to thank Nancy Kelley for her help. Thank you very much for the trailer. I have one question. Is there a map of neighborhoods that we can get access to?
Turn right around and ask Nancy Kelley.
Okay, thanks. Okay, thank you. That was it for my report.
Thank you. Richard, question. This is for neighborhood reports. If we have a question for Pat, we have a separate section to do that.
No,
Now,
do it now.
all at one time.
Well, I can't do all that.
Well,
2 minutes. Okay. Eileen Norman.
I'll have a slow clock for you.
Okay, yes. Hudson Bayou. We had a picnic last week with 100 people on it. There are still speeding issues on Orange Avenue. The city is monitoring it. We're keeping an eye on zoning changes. Our president and vice president took part in the summit and expressed, I think, strong views that there should be more access to presentations by groups that have a political bent, and something like City PAC that helps inform the neighborhoods of what the votes are with the commission, and gives information about upcoming events, upcoming votes. My question for Pat, let me find it here, 'cause Pat, at Monday's City Commission meeting, they're going to take up a wide-ranging zoning text amendment that, among other things, allows bars, outdoor bars by right. They now require additional approval, as the zoning code stands, that would disappear. For this text amendment to go forward, various departments in the city have to sign off on it. And one of those at the DRC, one of those is the police department, with no explanation. The burning question is why, and you and I had a talk yesterday. I told you I was going to ask this question, and you said you would look into it, because the question is, what is the standard of review used by the police department when it signs off on something like a wide-ranging policy issue? Gotcha.
Perfect. We're out of time. Look at that. These are newfangled mics. Is that working? Yes, kind of. All right, perfect. So Eileen was very nice and called me yesterday, and we had a conversation about that. So I called the chief, and I also spoke with Danny Robbins, who is the representative in the DRC. And what they both told me was there is no standardized standard of review for any of the departments. It's merely a sign off that they're aware of the changes that are coming down the pipe. So there's no assessment that's done to sign off on in that DRC process. And I'll have to check, Eileen, because I believe outdoor bars still have to go through a conditional use process. Indoor bars within the walls of the four corners would be by right. But again, I want to emphasize this. This is going before the commission. It can be changed at the dais. Those lovely folks that, the elected officials in the room, please raise your hand. To hire Commissioner Trice, go on, there you go. Well, you know Jen's gonna stand up and wave. So that's gonna go before the commission. It can be changed at the dais. So it's merely a staff recommendation, and it can be changed by our elected officials. So please reach out to your elected officials if you have an issue or you're concerned about that. Please, you know, like we always say, vote early, vote often, like Ron said. Please come to the commission, make sure you're reaching out to your elected officials, because that's where those changes can happen. So, right, Commissioner? Yeah, good, all right, yay, all right, thank you. So there are no standards of review that are written down, but it's merely for the departments to be aware that those changes might be coming. And what was the other part of that question? I think you asked me something else about, was it City Code 5-28?
City Code, yeah.
Yes, and it was reference to basically bad actors and that you
who
could.
are outdoor bars, and that the city code requires that after a certain very small
I think it's
number
two
of
numbers,
complaints, that they have security hired.
So I got together with a bunch of old jammers, because I told you I couldn't remember recently any that we've done, and they actually informed me that we actually have used that city code recently with the Cabana. So the Cabana Inn was one that we were having habitual issues with, that we actually forced them to hire off duty, and then they were forced to hire private security. It has not happened in a long time before that. I think the one before it, and it was not this management, but the Gator Club many years ago when I was on the road as a police officer, we did that. But generally, you use the criminal code. For most of these issues are noise related. I think the intent of that was both noise and fights, disorderly conduct, etc. But it's not something that's regularly used, because we can address it in different ways. When you have those habitual offenders, like, does everybody know what the Cabana is? The Cabana Inn? Okay. That was a really, really tough situation, because generally most establishment owners will work with us to try to solve those issues. The owner of that place was not at all compliant in any way, shape, or form, so we had to go down an additional road, and that was one of the tools that we used. So, but we have had a conversation about clarifying the DRC sign-off a little bit more, because I think that's a very valid question. It's something that I talked to Steve last night while I was before I went to an event, and he agreed that we need to take a look at that process. process just to make it clear what the expectation was of that, so I appreciate you asking that question.
Thanks, Pat. Just to clarify, so people sign off that they know about it, but not that they approve it.
That's correct, yes ma'am.
Thank you.
Could I ask a follow-up question regarding
When it
that?
comes back around, you can't go now.
Oh.
If you skip Bayou Oaks, it comes back. Sorry, Kathy, you called me out. We're going around.
I'm sitting right here.
Doesn't matter, you just
Okay.
shush. Go ahead, sir.
Charlie Nadelschmidt, Broadway Promenade. I have nothing for Pat, so he can work on his notes. I'd like to thank the board for bringing in the Supervisor of Elections today. I'm viewing this as the official kickoff of election season, in addition to the holiday season. I'd also like to mention that the general election coming up in 2024 has a number of nonpartisan seats available on the city commission, as well as the presidency. So I think getting our neighborhoods to register to vote is very important. At the summit, I sat in the second round at a table where the entire conversation was around governance, about voting and getting good candidates for public office. And so hopefully that's one of our priorities. Subsequent to that, I was at a meeting of CityPAC, where, full disclosure, I'm on the advisory board, and the theme of that meeting was getting out the vote, getting people to register, and a review actually of a newsletter that they put out every week called, or after every commission meeting, called City Hall Monitor. So since our conversations seem to be turning towards elections, I brought a lot of city PAC handouts on this monitor, which is a graphic representation of every commission meeting, along with a rating of what was discussed and some editorial comments. Now, quite frankly, I don't really care who votes for who. I know, that the city is nonpartisan, so it doesn't matter, but my view of this is it's just important that we all vote. So I'm gonna pass these to each side of the table. If they're short, I have a few more stuffed away in case somebody in the back would like to get one from me after the meeting. Thank you.
I'm not going to use this because I have a health compromised person at home, and not that I think you have germs. The good news, Harbor Acres, we have our picnic tomorrow with over 100 people. Some of the bad news, of course, I'm going to complain about South Orange and speeding, which is really pretty bad, and trucks using it that have no business being on South Orange. And the other issue I have, and Pat, this probably is yours, on Flower Drive where I live, we have 3 houses under construction within about 300 feet of one another. I thought when a building or home had a certain amount of square footage, that during construction you had to provide parking. I know that we did for construction people, a city person. We have one that put up a lovely fence, which is all nice, and we don't get to see the ugly part of the building going up. But at this point, it is incredible the number of cars on our street. And with one of the houses, it's just getting knocked down, so construction's going to start very soon. Flower Drive, within 300 feet, I mean, we have lots of cars on that street and on both sides, and construction vehicles. So I would hope that maybe the building department, when they come and do inspections, could address that issue. And the one house is on the corner of Flower and Harbor. That has a lovely fence. Now, I will say that we had during the preliminary site work, we had all of these dump trucks flying through Flower doing, I would say, 45 miles an hour. And after a while, like by the afternoon, I got really pretty angry. And so I called up White Construction, and the owner called me back, and he said, "Can you identify the trucks?" And I said, "Well, kind of." And I will tell you that it stopped almost immediately. I mean, he was great. So, it pays to speak up.
And could you give me the 100 block? You said Flower and Harbor. Do you know what the 100 block is?
It's right on the corner, I don't know.
All three of them?
Right on the corner of Flower and, Harbor Drive.
Got it, okay.
It's very obvious white fence around it, which
Okay.
looks good.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Joyce Fitzpatrick. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Can you hear myself? Plymouth Harbor, we're relatively new in the organization since late summer, and my alternate is here for the first time, Rhonda Manasseh, behind, so she'll be filling in for me, I'm sure. I'm going to repeat something that I had said in September at the meeting. We're concerned about flooding issues at the Ringling Bridge roundabout at Gulfstream. And we're wondering if the city or state has any plans for resolving those issues. Because we're right along John Ringling Boulevard. And of course, the bridge repair and restoration is going to affect us tremendously. You know, anybody who lives over the Ringling Bridge. We're not looking forward to that. But speeding along John Ringling is an issue with us. We need more enforcement of the limits, and also we would like to have trash receptacles along the Mert Trail. I don't know if that's a DOT issue or whether that's something, you know, we can do locally about. But that's a concern, litter along the John Ringling there at the Mert. As far as our community is concerned, you know, we're the big complex, just as you're heading towards Armand Circle. On the left, we've got a complex of buildings. We are completely redoing our peninsula, and the update is that all the Australian pines have been taken down, and we are putting up a new rookery and an open park in that area. That's the area that borders the Sarasota Yacht Club, if you're familiar with that. The only other thing I might add, and this is still in the works, is our board is considering a new building, 7-story building, where the parking lot is at the entrance as you come into John Ringling, and that's still in planning stages.
So real quick, not to cut you off, David, but I know you're gonna take more than 2 minutes, so just hold your powder there. I will tell you that the Gulfstream roundabout has undergone extensive repair of the stormwater drains and the outflow. I will tell you that FDOT is planning on doing additional road work at Golden Gate and Sunset and John Ringling there to raise that intersection up within the next, I believe it's 2 years, and then they're gonna go right into the resurfacing of the bridge. We're also looking at replacing, or FDOT is looking at replacing the Coomkey Bridge, the little Ringling Bridge. So there's a lot of significant drainage and road work that's gonna go on over there. I will tell you that having historically worked in Sarasota, that Gulfstream roundabout does not flood like it used to. It is so much better, even after the hurricane when the waters went up, they went down. Historically, in my experience, when those waters went up, they stayed up for days. It could take 2 to 3 days for that intersection to drain. It was passable within 4 or 5 hours after the storm went through. So although it does go up, that storm was a king tide. We had the king tide, the storm surge, and we had about 12 inches of rain in about 4 hours. So that particular situation was really a 100-year event. But I will tell you, FDOT, the city of Sarasota, and the county, we are taking that very seriously. And Marlon, remind me, is it November 7th that Nick and Spencer are gonna have the meeting? Chris, are you gonna talk about that? So both the city and the county will be out to speak about the drainage corrections, the things that went wrong, the things that went right, the things that they're trying to fix. So I think Chris will talk about that when it comes around, yeah?
Well, yeah, but it's a neighborhood only meeting.
Oh, sorry, you can't go.
City staff can go.
Sorry, I was trying to get everybody to get it, but we are taking it very seriously, and if you'd like a presentation, I will make sure that Nick Patel, and I'll get in touch with Spencer Anderson from the county if you'd like to have them here to talk about it a little bit, maybe that's something that we could talk about in the future. So if that goes well, let me know, and then maybe we can bring them here to CCNA, so.
Good idea.
David, the floor is yours, sir.
Yes, sir. I'm David Lowe with the
DISCA. First of all, Marlon, a shout out to Jennifer Jorgensen, who was our guest speaker at DISCA's board meeting the other evening. She did a fantastic job, and if you don't know Jennifer and her work on grants and special events and government affairs, I would encourage you to get to know her. Roundabout safety, speaking of speeding, some of you have seen our zebra and our giraffe. We're trying to do our part to, in a whimsical way of sorts, get people to pay more attention, particularly as we get in the season at the Gulf Stream roundabout. So I hope that brings a smile to your face and it carries a message. On the zoning text amendments that Eileen mentioned, this is really important, folks. It comes before the commission on Monday. And this is where I think I kind of had it wrong. I think DISCA and I originally thought that some of this work was cleaning up definitions and just updating some things. Well, I think it's, in my opinion, morphed into something far more significant. One of their very specific concerns, DISCA, with a focus more on downtown, has about rooftop bars and how those would be handled under this new situation, particularly adjacent, very close to some kind of buildings. As an example here, I don't know how many of you were following the one park trial or case, but they spent hours debating the difference between the word adjacent and abutting. And so I use that as an example when we're looking at the zoning text amendments related to bars and restaurants. We are extremely mindful of this subtleties and importance of getting this language straight. We also know that we have some really specific examples downtown. One bar kind of establishment on Main and a hotel with a rooftop bar. So we have some empirical data on which to base our things. So it's really important. I'll be speaking on Monday. DISCA has a committee working on this, but this is a big deal, and I hope all of you would regard it as that. Thank you.
So David, I think that relative to rooftop bars, I think everyone is familiar with the issues at Heart Ovation and the challenges that brought about. I believe, and Marlon, correct me if I'm wrong here, an outdoor bar is, a rooftop bar will be considered similar to an outdoor bar, which would require, Marlon, is it major conditional use? Minor conditional use, which would go before the DRC and the planning board, so there would be public input into that, in that process. So, and Jen threw it out there, so I can't check it, but I'm assuming she's right, because she usually is. So.
That's true.
Yes, I just give up, like whatever she said, that's fine. But there will be public review of that, but again, we all know that this is a big deal, and we know that there's some changes in language and process. Please come out and speak your mind, contact your elected officials, and let them know. It's gonna be in their lap. It's the best job ever. We come up with things and put it on them, and go, hey, see what they say. So come out on Monday and bring popcorn, but you can't eat it in the chamber. So I'll have Chris there to kick you out if you do. So thank you, Dave, appreciate it. Sir?
Yeah.
Hi, Randy Winters, Bird Key.
Bird Key, back in the house.
Yeah, we're back.
Congratulations. Yes.
So a few things. The bridge project that you referenced before, the one that goes from between Bird Key and St. Armand Circle.
The Little Ringling.
Little Ringling, yes, the dual bridges. So we had talked about that about a year ago, but it's been very quiet lately. Is there a way to have regular updates in terms of what the options are, where that's going?
So generally, in terms of time, the state moves kind of like an iceberg. So it's very slow, like a glacier. I'm guessing that project is 3 to 5 years out, at least, at a minimum. I know Lou was very involved in that, but I will get an update and find out. But I wouldn't expect the state to come back at like 6-month increments and let us know what's going on.
So in the interim, are there mitigation issues that have to be done on those bridges?
I believe they're all structurally sound. It's more about widening the lanes and widening allowing for more pedestrian safety on the, you know, those things, the pedestrian walkways like that, you know.
Yeah, no, it's
terrible.
It's pretty dangerous.
So I think that that's pretty much the primary goal there. It is coming to end of life, but there's no structural deficiencies in the bridge.
Okay. Traffic during busy season, December through March.
It's already here, I'm not sure if you've noticed. I've seen a lot of out-of-state.
It's not backed up to Lido yet.
I saw a bunch of car carriers heading out to Long Key, so they're among us.
So are there, I mean, I'm not sure what you can do to mitigate that traffic getting from Lido down to the circle. But is there anything in play right now to try to reduce that traffic or flow it better?
No.
Okay. I figured. Okay. I'm gonna try to get through this quick. So we had a truck accident on Bird Key, okay? And I think, I wasn't there, but there's a 90-degree turn after the Bird Key Yacht Club as you're heading out.
Okay.
And there probably should be a sign that indicates 90-degree turn.
Okay, we'll take a look at that.
I have that one. Let's see, lastly, neighborhood grant. Nancy, I've heard this mentioned multiple times. So I'm new here. What is a neighborhood grant? Okay, that would be nice to know. That's it. And lastly, speeding over the bridge. I echo that for sure. That's a pretty big deal. Thank
Not
you.
the trash. Doesn't bother you.
No, I'm yeah.
Okay,
I
that was
echo
2
that too.
minutes. Yeah.
I am Laurel Borberg from Central Coconut neighborhood. And we would also like to thank Nancy. We also got the grant with her help. And so thank you so much. We're excited about that. We're gonna also use the lion's share of those funds to beef up our social media. We really feel that we need to be communicating better, and in a broader way. So thanks for that. I'm not sure who I should thank for we managed to get 2 new speeding signs on Coconut.
I'm not gonna say who it was.
Well, they're up and running.
It was actually Nick Patella, wasn't it?
Well, I think it's working. You know, a lot of times I think we accidentally speed. You know, I look at the sign and say, "You're speeding." I'm like, "Oh no." So we appreciate that. We're also MHI. Somehow, also we got a air quality monitor, purple air monitor up on Coconut. Now, granted, it's a little bit further from the crushing company, or the U.S. Recycle crushing than we would like, but still it's up, and you can actually see it online. Go to purpleair.com and you can actually see the graphs right there in real time. So that's cool. And then the other really exciting thing for us is a long-time project of trying to stop U.S. Recycling from crushing concrete that we all feel, but we can't prove yet, is causing our air to be toxic. We are finally getting some of that monitoring equipment up and running. And within the next couple weeks, the team that's working on that is going to give an update for our board and some of our advisors who have been actively working on that project with us. So we're really excited about that. So hopefully next month, I'll be able to provide you with an update on what's really happening with that, and then we can provide the county with some documented information. That's all about it.
And I know that Central Coconut has been working on that air monitor for a long time with the county, so it's nice to hear that that actually is finally up and running. So if you could you send me who you were working with the county so I can let their bosses know that that's actually coming to fruition, please? I'd appreciate that.
Sure will.
Thank you.
Melinda Delpeche, Tahiti Park. And I just want to give a shout out to law enforcement. One of our residents has been very involved with law enforcement over the years. I mean that in a good kind of involvement with law enforcement. He is now in end-of-life hospice care, and law enforcement came out last night. They had maybe 8 or 9 vehicles with the lights flashing, and they stopped in front of his house and saluted him, and it was really nice. So I don't think we have any law enforcement representatives left here, but they did a great job. It was really nice.
Okay, this is Jerry Fagan from Glen Oaks Ridge, and
last Sunday, we celebrated our 50th anniversary. The featured speaker was Bob Horn from Bob's Train Restaurant. And Bob spoke without notes for 45 minutes, starting with the first ice age and through the Ringley Circus. We know more about the history of Florida than we care to know. Anyway, check out Bob's Restaurant on the train. You'll really enjoy it. Thank you very much.
They actually have a great hamburger, believe it or not. Fantastic. It's very cool.
Hey guys, I'm gonna stand up because sometimes I get a little animated and I don't want to hit Hugh with my hands. Chris Golia, St. Armand's.
It is 2 minutes.
Okay, 3 minutes. 3 things to report. Hurricane Idalia, we got flooded very badly at the St. Armand's parking garage. It is believed that the flood water was waist high. We're doing our annual survey right now, and half of our residents are reporting that they had at least some damage from the floodwaters. We have 200 homes and 50 condos in St. Armand's, that's a lot. And 10% are reporting significant damage. That's about 20 of our houses, and I know for a fact, floors, walls, base cabinets, appliances ripped out and gone. We have these pump stations on St. Armand's that are supposed to eject groundwater, but the electronics were mounted on the ground, so the flood water rose, killed the electronics, the pumps didn't work. The county is telling us even if the pumps did work, there would be nowhere for the pump stations to have pumped the water to. So anyway, people are in shock out there, but we're gonna get through this. Earlier in the summer, there was a shooting at a St. Armand's vacation rental. 2 people were sent to a hospital, but I've been told that 30 rounds were fired. It could have been much worse. And this was because of high occupancy at a vacation rental. We have these hotel houses there. The city's in the process, I think, of rolling out the vacation rental ordinance citywide to address this. And I think on Monday at the city commission meeting, they're gonna talk about defending this occupancy limit, and I look to the city to do that. Final thing I wanna say is St. Armand's residents have a good relationship with the St. Armand's merchants. We appreciate the shops and restaurants that we can walk to, and they appreciate having us all around them to be their regular customers. However, in the past, recent past, there have been some conflicts with the merchant association that we love and adore, and with the city. And we all have a good sense of humor here. We're chuckling, we're smiling, and I ask you to keep that sense of humor. Hopefully time will heal all wounds, and hopefully the merchants, the residents, the city can work together to make one of these economic engines in the city move forward in a positive way. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jessie here from Lido Key. Our next meeting, we are having code enforcement staff giving an update on vacation rental and the hotel houses. Everyone is welcome to attend to hear update. The meeting is going to be on November 18th at 10 a.m. at Lido Beach Resort. That's 700 Benjamin Franklin Drive. We welcome everyone to attend. I would like to thank the city for installing speeding meter at Boulevard of the President. That keeps me on my toes. I thank you very much for that. I have a question for Mr. Robinson. Do you keep a record of the accidents happening on John Ringling and 41? I see a lot of them, especially around about the full moon. And I think it will be helpful if you can just give us an update every month. I'm just curious.
Yes, we do keep any intersection in the city. We keep records of that going back to, I think our current record system was in play at 2005. So I think I can draw off of that going back to 2005. But I'd be happy to. I guess Officer Grichowski is going to take over for Officer Robbins. But I will ask them if you'd like to get crash updates of major roadways. We can add that to the stats that
I'm
we
just
send
curious.
out. Probably not go through every intersection because it'll take a long time. But maybe we just add that to the stats that come through, just so So we're doing top 10.
And put it
top
on the
10.
website.
Yeah. And put it on the website,
And put it on the website.
sorry, on the website.
Yeah.
So, yes, ma'am, thank you.
Okay. Oh, I've lost my
You're
time
done.
already.
You're done.
I talk fast, but not that fast. Miles Tobin with South Poinsettia Park Neighborhood Association. Thank you for, by the way, Pat, for taking the time to do this, much appreciated. And thank you, Nancy Kelley. We also received a grant, which we much appreciate. Hopefully will enable us to expand our reach to the association members, which is something which is a priority for me and for our board. Our priorities beyond that continue to be street lighting, street resurfacing, and traffic calming. Pat, we have met with representatives from the city on all of these issues, and we're continuing to meet with them. In all candor, I'm not wowed by the priorities which the city has on some of these issues, and my perspective is it's time for us to meet with you and exchange thoughts and ideas, and so I'm hoping that the end result of this meeting will be that you and I can just pick a time to get together and chat. I will also say, final point is a big issue which has relatively recently arisen is the Benderson project at Southgate Mall. They have asked, as you know, for an amendment to have them included within the Tamiami Trail zoning amendment. They were excluded. They're seeking inclusion. And so we met with Benderson, we met with Kimberly Horn, and actually they were very receptive, very productive meeting. Our main concerns, of course, are increased traffic in the surrounding area, which we are in the surrounding area, increased parking in the area. We hope to continue meeting with them. Probably worth also chatting with you about that as well. But again, I'm not going to throw stones at Benderson. I think thus far
They have really
been
good lawyers,
receptive.
don't do that.
I'm actually a very good lawyer.
Well, there you go. Then throw away.
All right.
Throw away.
Okay, and.
I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, finish, answer his question.
You're so angry today. What's wrong? Oh, I didn't notice the. Yeah, we need to talk about that later. I do think the Benderson project it's a massive area and it will have an impact in that area. You know, growing up in Sarasota, the one thing I will say is it's definitely gonna change the dynamic of that area. You know, when it was a shopping mall, very, very busy back in the day. Now it's kind of fallow. It's like a rotting building. I'd like to see that space used, but I think it should be used in cooperation with the neighborhoods to make sure. I literally live right around the corner from it, so it'll impact me just as much as everyone else over there. I think it could be a great win if it's done correctly, and I was very happy to hear. I heard a lot of really good feedback, just like you said, about their community meetings and some of the input that they took. So, you know, like I said, I wouldn't throw too many stones at Benderson because they do have really good lawyers, and you can throw as many as you like. But you know,
Not throwing any stones. We
Yes.
just need to
make sure
get our
it's-
input heard from them and from the city and kind of work with them.
And whenever you would like to have a meeting, just let me know and we'll get it on the books.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
We have one more neighborhood.
Well, you got me.
Oh, you, oh,
all right.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Secretary.
Who's
Sorry.
who's he?
Yeah, well, first, as secretary, following up from what Norm said, if you or anyone in the neighborhood, because this isn't just for delegates, have comments or want to give feedback for Bobby Jones, if you go once again to sarasotapublic.com, we set up a topic that it will go not only to just Parks and Recs, but it will also go to the commissioners, it'll also go to city management, and it'll be aggregated so that they can keep track of everybody's comments. So it helps everybody keep track of public safety. So that's from the secretary's side. From Laurel Park, Ron Cash in Laurel Park. Thank you, Nancy Kelley. Yeah, it's the theme today. We're having our picnic in the park tonight. The public's invited. Next week, not this Monday, but next Monday, we have a neighborhood meeting where one of the topics might be the Benderson project, which is the county building. We, as all of you know, we had a really incredible charrette where they brought in architects to do a site plan. It was really something exceptional. What the neighborhood is doing right now is we're waiting for Benderson to review their own architect's site plan and come back with what they plan to do, and we'll go forward from there. So we'll try and keep everybody up to date with what's going on with the county building.
Can you identify that building, please?
The county building, it's right on Ringling across from the post office. It's the county administration building, and really where a lot of the contention occurs is they have a secondary parking lot that is actually in Laurel Park. It used to be, it was originally John Gillespie's house at one point, but that goes back in time. Back to Bob Strings.
Thank you.
You're gonna make me go over.
You're
such a saver.
I agree.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. My name's Jody. I am the secretary for Bayou Oaks Neighborhood Association. Thank you for welcoming me to this group. This is my second meeting. I am looking forward to learning from all of you and getting to know you. Thanks.
All right. Okay, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Question for Kathy.
Wait. Oh.
When we turn this in, do you want the whole thing, or do we just tear off the front?
It doesn't matter as long as your neighborhood name is on the front and you've rank ordered on the back.
Yes, you can keep the back.
All right, we have a few minutes. Mr. Brown, do you have any, you got 2 minutes, anything to say? Anything you want to say? Yell at us?
Be careful, Richard.
I know. Push on the bottom.
Oh, we have to give them a working mic.
You never give the city manager a mic. Just quickly, you will probably be seeing, and we sent this out to Richard, a save the date for a very exciting experience. It will be the opening of the Bobby Jones golf course, and so that will be on December the 15th. There will also be an opportunity to walk the nature park as well. So December the 15th, starting at 9 o'clock in the morning, Bobby Jones golf course, the grand opening.
Jen? 2 minutes?
Is it working out?
No, push on.
It's okay. Everybody, please stay involved. Thank you for what you're doing. This is incredible to see this table full. I love this organization, and your voice is essential to us doing our jobs. So we work for you. Don't ever forget that. Show up, speak, and speak often.
Debbie?
Just briefly, it was brought up, the zoning text amendments that are on the agenda on Monday, they're very complex, so your thoughts, what I've asked people to do is, what are the concerns that you hope these zoning text amendments will address? Don't give us the zoning text amendment, give us your concerns so we can check off to see, do these amendments meet or solve your concerns? Thank you.
All right, thank you guys. Wait, what happened to my microphone? Here we go. Okay, remember, next month is December 2nd. It's the Christmas party, election of officers, and other things. Turn your mobiles back on. And remember that list of things that you checked off while Pat was talking? It needs people time. Think about volunteering some of your time to help us get it done. And let me see, why do I have, oh, somebody said thanks to us about Ron Turner today. That was, thank Joanne, that was her. And I know of no other business.
If anybody wants the solar packet.
Oh, okay, solar packet.
Yeah.
Also, talk to Barbara on the way out to sign up. She's right there, so that we have something. Turn your clocks back this morning, sometime. That's tomorrow. Sometime tomorrow morning. Yeah, you're gonna turn your clocks back. I think I've hit everything. Thank you, everybody. It was great to see all of you back at the table after a great summer and a summit. And we are adjourned.